know just the place. Come on.
Alrighty.
This is where they kiss. It's like softcore bro porn. Now you go off with Gladio alone. Guess what happens? Ugh. What's that thing on his leg? It's a dildo. You know,
Exactly. We're going for a run. Nice and simple.
What? That's all?
Try saying that when your lungs are ripe to burst. Sand's tough to run on. There's no better way to improve stamina, and no better time to do it than first thing in the morning to make it interesting. What say we race?
Race?
With stakes. If you lose, you have to train with me every day.
I can't lose, can I?
That there's the goal. Now let's get started. Ready, set, go.
Damn, he's quick for his size.
Hey, you trying to lose?
Damn, he's quick for his size.
Hey, you trying to lose?
Piece of cake.
Hey, you're not doing so bad.
Yes.
Well done, Noct. There's no way Specs can complain when you come back to camp this early. Crusted in sand. Make sure you act nice and smug when you see him.
Yeah. If this doesn't shut Ignis up, I don't know what will. I gotta say though, it's kinda nice at this hour.
Even if that's all you take from this, that's good enough for me. Come on. Let's go. Good hustle out there.
Yeah.
Aggro.
I know. I'm awesome.
Okay, so oh, head to the mineral deposit. Oh yeah, that's like up a bit. Okay, so let's go to the car.
You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Yeah, I like it when I go up a level because my swords can go higher.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Broken boar tusk. You receive loot. Light leather.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Broken boar tusk. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot.
I need
Light
10 silver to buy 2 more bags, and then I could just keep grinding, pretty much.
Aggro.
This grind is one of the worst grinds
You
I've
receive
ever
loot. Ruined
done.
leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Light leather.
Aggro.
When does 16 come to PC? September 17th. That's only in a month. No, it's in 16 days. $50. $50. Ooh. Oh, they will cost extra. The game will also include its 2 DLC expansions, but these will cost extra. Free demos available for both platforms, allowing players to experience the first hours of the game in the iconic challenge mode. It's in 16 days. Final Fantasy 16.
You receive loot. Malachite.
Oh, I didn't know. No wonder I'm playing Final Fantasy 15 at the right time. Yeah. Play this for 2 weeks and then I'll switch to 16. It'll be sweet. Oh, it's a good month. In 2 days, Fallout 76 gets a new content thing where they're like doing a like kind of a new content thing for
You receive loot. Chunk of meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
They're doing escort quests called Caravan, which is like a public group quest, I think, where you just like escort and tons of stuff attacks.
Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
Lockdown has reached level 60.
You receive loot. Light leather.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Chipped for task. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Chunk of meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Chunk of meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Chipped for task. You receive loot. Light leather.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Light leather.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Chunk of meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
They made me wait a year. It's so dumb. I can't believe the summer's over. Summer's over today. It's insane. It was a good summer. I enjoyed it immensely.
Aggro.
I lost weight and, you know, doing great. You
You
know,
receive loot. Chunk of meat. You receive loot.
my
Ruined leather
life's
scraps.
good.
Aggro.
Stream went well. Got a new video card. It was a great summer.
You receive
Summer
loot.
pretty much
Chipped for
ended.
task.
Like, you know, it's kind of sad.
You receive loot. Chunk of meat.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Chunk of meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
September 17th. Like, look, something's happening like every...
Aggro.
You receive loot. Broken for task. You receive loot. Chunk of boar meat.
Aggro.
You receive loot. Light leather. You receive loot. Chunk of boar meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Aggro.
Final Fantasy 16. Oh, you can play a demo of this? Well, shit, yeah, let's go play the demo of 16, huh? Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't really want to do any story spoilers or anything like that. It's it's 16 gigs, is it? Sure. Install the 16 demo. Yeah.
You receive loot. Shipped boar tusk. You receive
Aggro.
loot. Light leather. You receive loot. Chunk of boar meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
I don't remember how 16 did. I was pissed off about 16, so I just completely ignored it. I was like, I can't play it, and I'm not gonna buy a Sony for one game, you know? I'm not gonna buy a Sony PS5 for one game that I can't do on my stream because it's like not, you know, well, I guess I could, but it still wouldn't be that good.
Aggro.
Meat. You receive loot. Ruined leather scraps.
Looking for Final Fantasy 15. Wait, what? The development cycle of Final Fantasy began in 1988.
The game has an extremely deep and satisfying combat system that I really like. It's a complete overhaul from everything in the... Yeah, I got my angry face on, because I'm not a happy...
Why are we not playing WoW?
I am not in a good mood. Last night, I was playing Final Fantasy 16, and unfortunately, I had to engage in the cringe that is the human body, where I needed to relieve myself of some waste, so I went to the bathroom, and per usual, when sitting on the porcelain throne, I do kind of doom scroll Twitter. And I saw something that actually got under my skin. I damn near let the demon out. What I saw on Twitter was far stinkier than whatever I was putting into that godforsaken toilet bowl. It was a take so incomprehensibly stupid that I couldn't believe what I was reading, nor the support for the take. And it's about the game I was playing last night, Final Fantasy 16, a game I've been very excited about. And before we get into it, it has nothing to do with like not liking the game versus liking the game. People are always more than welcome to like things I don't like or not like things that I do like. But this was something I've never quite seen before. And I gotta really rant about it. So I'm coming to your table and I'm bringing the wine directly to your glass because this is something special. I feel like I need to go back to saying this because the internet's become such a rambunctious place, but obviously don't harass or be an asshole to anyone in this situation about the takes or anything like that. This is the tweet. It says, story, terrible, the combat, press the same button 30 times. Totally fine to not like the story, not your cup of tea, you want to wipe your ass with the narrative, no big deal. But that second part, press the same button 30 times, and then linking a video of somebody doing just that, is so outrageously fucking brain dead. Like, this is an actual take that I would read from like an AI-generated script on how to make people mad by lying. This single tweet has convinced me that game journalism is dead. it's buried and it's not coming back. It can't be saved. No Phoenix Down potion is going to save game journalism. It's done from this one tweet alone. I'm gonna go ahead and play the video just so you can see what the tweet's referring to with the combat, and then I'll explain why it's just outright wrong. It's not even just a load of baloney, it's the whole goddamn baloney factory. The amount of dirty barnacles here wouldn't even fit in the...
I need to see the combat now. I didn't see this game coming. I didn't know it was this soon. Jesus Christ. Final Fantasy 16 combat.
Next, I'd like to talk about the combat of Final Fantasy 16. All the battles in the game take place in real time and are not turn-based. As Clive progresses through the story, he will learn a wide array of exciting abilities from the icons that he encounters. Now,
Male character.
let's take a
Where's the party?
moment to admire Clive in action.
Level 60.
Okay, I mean, it looks pretty fucking good. AI Doom changes names for Final Fantasy 16 a year later, Limitless.
Throughout the game, Ultima is the combat system. Now, with this game comes one of the most exciting yet divisive combat systems in the franchise. I myself am someone who really enjoys both turn-based and action combat. So when this game was revealed to not only be an action game, but an action game made by one of the combat designers of Devil May Cry 5, I was all on board, because that is one of my favorite action games of all time. Final Fantasy 16 is the first true combo action game in the series. Unlike Final Fantasy 15, which was sort of a unique mix between turn-based and action, though not as good of a mix as something you would see in the remake trilogy. With 16, they just went all in on the action combat, and it shows. Although it's not as complex of a combat system you would see in Devil May Cry 5, the versatility and the combo potential that you can pull off in this game is almost limitless. It reminds me a lot of the gameplay and the freedom that you have in Kingdom Hearts. To this day, Kingdom Hearts 2 remains some of the best action games I've played, and some of the best that Square Enix has made. And I'd say with 16, the action combat definitely sits up there for me. It is by far the fastest and most fluid gameplay within the series. And of course, like a lot of the HD Final Fantasies, we also see a return to the stagger system. The meat of the combat really comes from the 8 icons you can unlock in the game. You can choose to equip up to 3 icons, and all of them are different and offer a unique playstyle for the player. I cannot stress how well done the icon system is here. For every person that I see play this game, all of their setups are different. I have seen some discourse that the combat itself doesn't have depth, and that is where I disagree. It isn't the combat itself that lacks depth, but the systems and the mechanics that revolve around it. The problem that Final Fantasy XVI's gameplay runs into is its variety and enemy mechanics and difficulty. For most of the enemies in Final Fantasy XVI, all you really have to do to kill them is to just keep hitting them until they die. There really isn't anything unique to mechanics when it comes to enemies, and the difficulty here doesn't help either. The game is very easy with pretty much little to no challenge within the combat whatsoever, and that is very unfortunate because the combat itself is extremely versatile and very well done. I've been playing the new Kairos Gate mode on the hardest difficulty, and that mode alone proved how important a harder difficulty was in the game. It's definitely a mode that really pushes you to bring out the most in the combat, especially if you're on the Final Fantasy difficulty. Aside from that, there really isn't a lot that really pushes you to bring out the most in the gameplay, but in those rare instances where it does, like the Kairos Gate mode and other bosses such as Omega and Leviathan, it really drives home just how important a harder difficulty is in a game like this. One more minor gripe to get out of the way is that you can't really play as other characters in the game like you can in other Final Fantasies. Instead, it is all focused on honing your action skills for one character. Aside from that, as an action game, I think it is extremely solid. The versatility alone inspires so much creativity and combo potential. Each icon has a special ability called an icon feat. Each of them provides a unique way to approach your enemies. For instance, you have Phoenix, who can dash towards enemies and close in gaps, Garudas, where you can pull enemies towards you, or late game icons like Shiva, where you can freeze any enemy in place. And if you're lucky to dodge at just the right moment, you can freeze them for an even more extended period of time. There is no order to your setup or what you're able to use. So with every playthrough you watch, you'll most likely see people using a setup completely different from your own. And even now, when coming back to this game, I am still finding new things to do within the combat. What I admire about it so much is the fact that you have the freedom to do whatever you want. I hear a lot of people complain that it doesn't have any elemental weaknesses, but that would actually stand against what a combo action game stands for. These type of action games are all about creativity and giving the player—
This isn't really what I'm looking for, though.
Aggro.
Damn it. I didn't really look at 16, I didn't know.
the freedom to combo with literally anything they want.
I don't know, for 50 bucks, I think, oh, I don't know, I might wait.
You receive loot, light letter.
Oh, I don't know, I've never not bought a Final Fantasy game. I'm sure it's good. It'll be fun to do on the stream.
You find yourself afraid to go into caves alone or tremble saying stitches in duskwood. Then Cowards is for you. We are focused on having solid players who love the game and working on previs and rating. Active community in Discord.
Aggro.
You receive loot, chunk of 4 meat. You receive loot, light leather. You receive loot, light leather. You receive loot, ruined leather scraps. You receive loot, light leather. You receive loot, ruined leather
Glass
scraps.
buffer, oh my god.
You receive loot, light leather.
Fucking meth people.
Aggro.
Yeah, meth and MMOs goes hand in hand, I'd say.
You receive loot, broken boar tusk. You receive loot, chunk of 4 meat.
The whole point of it is that you're able to express yourself the way you want through the combat. A lot of people want to treat this game like a strategy RPG, but the reality of it is that it is a true action game more than it is anything else. You have
That's not what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for hard.
to learn to embrace the idea of learning combos alongside trying to balance that with DPS. I've learned that embracing it for the combo action game that it is, rather than looking at it for what it's not, has really given me an even deeper appreciation for the combat. If you can—
Yeah, this is not what Final Fantasy is. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they did a good job on it.
manage practicing combos and finding builds that work for you, I guarantee you will love this game, especially if you enjoy action games like me. The soundtrack. Unsurprisingly, the soundtrack in Final Fantasy XVI is absolutely stellar.
Is
With
it?
the setting being more medieval and going back to that classic fantasy style, the soundtrack reflects that very well. The composer, Masayoshi Soken, excels at bringing such a unique take on the orchestral style.
No, I bet it's good. I'll buy it. I'll buy it and I'll beat it. I've beaten everything else in the Final Fantasy lexicon all the way through. Like, I mean, I know that I'm not gonna miss this game. I've been waiting for this game for a long time. Yeah, I just want to skin your corpses for
light letter.
free.
You receive loot. Ruin leather scraps. You receive loot. Ruin leather scraps.
Let's eat your leather.
You receive loot. Ruin leather scraps.
Leather.
You receive loot. Light leather. You receive loot. Ruin leather scraps. You receive loot. Light leather. You receive loot. Light leather.
See, this guy knows how to do hardcore.
You receive loot. Light leather. You receive loot. Ruin leather scraps.
Yeah, I have enough money now. Where's the vendor? It's like over here. Food seller. Oh, I'm level 9, and I think I can wear some of this other stuff now. Boots. Boots are level 10. The gloves are level 8. We can make those. The vest I already have. The belt. Yep, I already have the belt and the pants. Bracers. What else should I make? I should just make like a lot of these. Well, no, I guess that's not it. It would be the gloves. I should make a lot of gloves, and I'll just sell them. That's fine. Gotta go to Gold Share. Got a lot of leather though. Got a lot of money. Finally gonna get the bags that I need. 3, 6, 9. 9 silver puts me at, yeah, like 13. And then whatever gloves I can. Well, I guess I will make gloves because I do want to get a higher leatherworking thing because it's the only source of gear that I'll have. I'll take leatherworking until I'm like level 20 or something like that, and then I'll drop it for herbalism alchemy, and I'll be back here. I don't really know how serious SSF it actually is. It's fucking crazy. You have to like. It's slow, and I'm not maining the game. I'm not. But I'm gonna get back on EvE here.
Even cooler is the fact that Soken also takes a bunch of inspiration and motifs from past Final Fantasy games into 16. For instance, the battle theme may sound very familiar to some of you.
Sounds like 14. Yeah, it sounds the exact same, except this sounds better. That's 7. Or sorry, it's 8. 8.
He does this all while delivering a soundtrack that could stand amongst some of the greats in the series. I kid you not, he created some tracks in here that will definitely become iconic in the next couple of years.
Good.
And it fits his reputation, because if you've heard his work in Final Fantasy XIV, you'll know that Soken is pretty much a legend at Square Enix at this point. He's most well known for his variety in music, so in this game, he just couldn't help but to flaunt his musical style. Here's an example of some of my personal favorites.
You receive item. Force bricks 20. You receive item. Force bricks 20.
Oh, I need a vendor. Oops.
You create embossed leather gloves. You create embossed leather gloves. You create embossed leather gloves. create light armor kit.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't want to ruin it.
Game design. Perhaps the biggest criticism of this game has to do with the pacing and the quest design. Unfortunately, with the amazing icon fights, top-of-the-line visuals, and voice acting came at the cost of well-balanced pacing and any interesting quest structure. You'll go from having these more linear-focused mission areas and big story beats, and then right after that, long stretches of downtime that can kill the story pacing. There are a lot of games that have downtime moments similar to 16. However, in this game, the transitions between the two are so noticeable and drastic that it can definitely kill the flow of the story at times. If you're someone who really does not like game design that's just go from A marker to B marker with not much variation between in design, then this will be a rough experience for you.
Yeah, like I didn't like 7 Remake. It was really linear.
The game is structured like an MMO, which isn't surprising.
Oh, it's structured like an MMO?
Consider that Final Fantasy 16 is made by the same developer who worked on the very popular MMO Final Fantasy 14. However, I do think that they overestimated how well an MMO type of structure would work in a more single-player AAA title. And that's really...
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, okay, cool. It has like an MMO structure. Never mind. I guess I'll give it a swing.
Fortunate, because everything outside of the...
This was the review I needed.
You create embossed leather gloves.
Game design for 16 I absolutely love. When it comes to the story, the combat, the boss fights, the characters, and the voice acting, all of it is top tier. And it's not surprising when the game can turn a lot of people off because of the game's pacing and very uninspired quest design. But if it's any game developer who can learn from that, it is definitely Creative Studio 3. DLC. Originally, there weren't plans for any DLC during the development of Final Fantasy 16. However, with the game seeing very good launch numbers and popular demand to see more of the world of Valencia, they were able to use concepts and bits of lore that were written ambiguously into the game originally. The developers were definitely aware that they had to write the story in the base game in a way that didn't have need for any DLC to wrap up any major story plot points. The main story of Final Fantasy 16 was a lot more coherent and complete than anything we had in 15. And the DLC is only
That's cool. It's like actually really definitive. Yeah, because 15 was like kind of a wishy-washy dumb story that I actually really didn't favor very much. I didn't really care for it, honestly. I'd like to skip through it, but it's good content for the stream for people to see it once. It's good to have it on the video. On my channel, excuse me. Light leather bracers. Okay, so...
You have learned how to create a new item, embossed leather pants.
Light leather bracers. Wait, journeyman leatherwork. Oh, I have to go to Stormwind. Ah, I have to go to Stormwind, son of a bitch. I didn't know. That's alright. If it's got MMO structure, this might be my game.
To enhance the world around Clive and the people within Valencia. The Echoes of the Fallen DLC gave us a bit more insight on the ancient civilization that we know a little of, and even fight the remnants that are scattered throughout the game. But it's something that's more in the background than it is at the forefront of the story. It's a DLC that serves to shed more light on their civilization and their history with Ultima. A fun little piece of content that also brings in a really iconic super boss from the franchise. They wrote the Leviathan story in a way that wasn't super integral to the base game story, and I'm actually very glad that it turned out that way. The way in which icons work within 16 would make you think that Leviathan would be extremely important to the base game of the story. It's written in a way to where it doesn't need Leviathan for Clive's growth. You can easily skip these DLC and still get the full package of Final Fantasy 16 story. Both pieces of DLC only really serve to add more context to the lore of the world that we only get to hear a little bit about in the base game. And I think they do a fantastic job of keeping that extra content as just that, extra content, and not something that is required to complete the overall experience. The ambiguous ending. Since this game has been out, there have been many opinions about the ending, both positive and negative. One thing is certain amongst everyone, and that is that the ending leaves you with more than a few questions. And to be fair, it's an ending that's supposed to make you feel that way. I think it beautifully wrapped up the themes of the game while also keeping it just ambiguous enough so that people could have their own interpretation of the ending. For me, the great thing about Final Fantasy XVI's ending is the fact that you choose how the story ends. Much like the themes of the game of free will and having that choice. In the end, it brings those themes together, and what matters is what the player takes from it. I personally believe that stories that don't have a set-in-stone answer all the time, but require the viewer to look back at the
Oh no, I do want to play this game. Look, it looks like they did a good love story. Thank God there's some women in it.
Story and context clues to come up with their own interpretation. That to me is far more invaluable. That story ends up becoming a lot more than what the author had intended simply because of the interpretation of the people. It'll go on to be this whole living story that continues for years and years. I think having the author state an answer when it's not intended for the story can be very unnecessary. So what do I believe? Well, I'm of the mindset that Clive survived and wrote the book. There are many clues that point to that conclusion, including the to do, and everything that it gets right is some of my favorite in the series. And ultimately, this game is a
Thank you, Limitless, for the excellent content from our stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
The development. Now, I am someone who has grown up with the franchise and have played almost all of the Final Fantasy games at this point. Yeah. With the exception of Final Fantasy XI and some spin-off games here and there, I would like to think that I am pretty well versed in this series. And with each title comes their own positives and negatives. For instance, Final Fantasy XIII had to work with its problematic game engine, Crystal Tools, aka the Dark Ages of Square Enix. Not to mention that it threw away its more open-zoned...
Wait, what?
13 had to work with its problem on positives and negatives. For instance, Final Fantasy XIII had to work with its problematic game engine, Crystal Tools, aka the Dark Ages.
Yeah, that engine was really fucking bad. It was like you weren't even really there. It was like you were running down a hallway, and then in the combat you just pressed a button, and like an animation would play. And it was the most base Final Fantasy. I mean, essentially, that's what Final Fantasy's always been. But I don't know. There was always a sense of freedom in Final Fantasy that 13 just did not have. It was the fucking. I love 13, but there was some open parts of the game, but linear. It was like linear was its bread and butter. It was like, you know, you just keep fighting down that hallway, you know.
Threw away its more open-zoned, overworld approach for a far more linear experience. Yeah. Or with Final Fantasy 15 with its infamous development cycle and its lack of direction or coherency in its narrative. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love Final Fantasy 15, but the story was definitely not one of its strong suits.
No, I wouldn't say. The combat's great, but the story, Oh yeah, I'm not here to train Rogue, I'm here to train leather crafting. Oops.
Brotherhood really kept that game together for me, and at the end of it all, I still enjoyed my time with it despite its problems. As a result of the reception that came with 15, Final Fantasy XVI was, in many ways, a direct response to those criticisms. The one thing that Creative Studio 3 absolutely didn't want to repeat was having a disjointed, incomplete story once again. One that didn't have important storylines locked behind animes, movies, and books, but a game that had a beginning, middle, and end all in one package at launch. And instead of having DLC filling in gaps of the story, 16's was added not to complete the story, but to service the world and the lore that could be built upon. And while Final Fantasy XVI worked hard to not repeat the mistakes of the past, instead they ended up creating mistakes of their own. To be fair, there are some really good criticisms by at least reasonable people that I can actually agree with. When it comes to exploration, game design, and the lack of RPG elements and systems, I can definitely agree with a lot of those criticisms. And yet, even despite those flaws, I believe this is a solid Final Fantasy. Everything that it strives to do and everything that it gets right is some of my favorite in the series.
Yeah, I would say that 13 was such a terrible departure from the Final Fantasy system, but I still like 13, and I'm willing to give them their chance, especially if the combat is good. Because honestly, I don't know. I like the combat in 15. I think it's good, but it's not amazing. You know, I suppose I could go try this 16 demo now and just play this game. I suppose rather than, you know. Oh yeah, get me in. Okay, I'm gonna play 16 for the first time. I didn't know there was a demo. Nice. A contract has been assigned to me. A corpse. Oh, no, I'm okay. That's okay, though. I don't care about that. Yeah, like, you kill me in a venture. Who cares? It's a venture. Fucking weird. Fucking PvP people. Did you know that I didn't even look when you killed me? That's how little I cared. I know it's disrespectful, but I mean, that is the truth. I did not even look when you killed me. Oh my god. PvP people are so shitty. They need to have this, like, redemption story now, where they become, like honor just becomes, like, the fucking, like, you know, the Ghost Dog Warrior way becomes, like, honor of the PvP community, and they suddenly become the nicest people in the community. That's what needs to happen. They need a redemption arc story, where all the PvP people suddenly become the nicest people in gaming. I don't know. It's like, it's not like that.
If we reverse the essence flows, perhaps we can alter the polarity.
Oh, yeah. So did I do everything that I wanted to do? I don't know. I don't think I did. I don't think, or well, I don't know. I guess I can make a few more sets of gloves, I guess. Yeah. Oh, I'm capped. And they want 5, so I guess I have to make these just to break the cap, which is so stupid.
You create embossed leather gloves. You create embossed leather gloves.
So I stayed up late today, but I mean, it is the weekend. It's alright to do that.
You create embossed leather gloves.
I should go to bed, though. It's like 6:15. I don't know why I'm going back out. I'm not going back out. I'm going to go to bed. I'm in Stormwind, which is a good place to do that. Gotta go back because I forgot that I could just sell the gloves and buy the leatherworking cap because I need it. Where am I gonna get armor from? The vendors. The fucking vendors. I'm doing like this Iron Man SSF run. It's so hard. So, oops, I went too far again. God damn it. I can't take a chance from anybody. No, it's you, but I have to sell... Oops. Okay, I have to sell you to be able to even afford the cap. Oh, what happened there? Okay. I am going to break my training here. Oh, you can't do it? Oh, yeah, no, I have to be level 10, but I did all of my leatherworking business, and I got silver so that I can buy a bag, which is good. I'm going to buy a bag. I suppose I'll have more money when I cook this. Yeah. Have like a little bit more money when I cook that.
Joshy yells, 3+1 agile to cloak. Tips appreciated.
I am going to buy a bag. Yes. Why don't you have 6 letters here? Oh my god, I don't know. Does it matter? No. I don't
Thomas
think
Miller
so.
says, freshly baked bread for sale.
Do here? I don't think so. There's nothing else I can do here, so. This demo features several chapters of Final Fantasy XVI's first act. All save progress can be carried over to the main game. We hope you enjoy your time in Valisthea. Okay. Screen brightness. Yeah, like about there. Subtitles, controller rumble, text language English, voiceover. Next, E is next. Okay, visual alerts. Enable on screen with the provides visuals of in-game sounds and musics. Wait, what? Of in-game sounds and music. No. Visual alerts for accessibility. Visual alert size. Visual alert capacity. Story focus or action focus. Begin the game with standard equipment. Begin the game equipped with several accessories that simplify gameplay. Recommended for those players who are less comfortable with action games who wish to focus more on the game's story elements. Action focused. I don't want to do this right now. I'm going to quit out. And we will do this when, in the morning this evening when I wake up. I'm gonna go out to that Talassa night there, I guess. Might as well take the ore since I went out there. I'm gonna be going to bed, and I'll dock up before I go to bed. What else has to happen here? I think... Oh, no, I need to buy fire crystals and send fire crystals before I go to bed. Fire crystals. Fire crystals. This was a shorter session in terms of recording, but it was a good long session in terms of sessions. 900, huh? Oh, alright. 1... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Warlock Dot says, giving away free bags in starting area.
8, 9. Okay, then gonna send them. Okay, good. Then I'll take her back. Yeah, she's like kind of burning through the money. No, she'll probably have sales sitting here. She'll probably have like, but she probably won't have sales for a little bit because the prices took a dump. It sucks. I meant to look at Mithril, but I don't have any money to buy it anyways, so... I mean, I do, but yeah.
Sapphira says, how goes it, homies?
Okay, I'm gonna log over... No, I'm gonna quit. Yeah. No, I changed my mind. I'm just gonna dock up here and go to bed. I know that I'm going to bed. Yep.
Veku says, GM. Horrible says, swimmingly. Hugo says, just another day.
Gotta cook more of this. Yes.
You create roasted boar meat. 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 Warlock dot says, free bags in starting area. Gankert says, cowards, do you find yourself afraid to go into caves alone or tremble saying stitches in Duskwood? Then cowards is for you. We are focused on having solid players, who love the game and working on previs and rating. Active community in Discord.
Oh, I forgot to buy the goddamn bag. Oops. Yeah, the bag. I'm brain dead. I'm going back out and it's dumb. I'm just gonna go to bed. My mind is so much on the grind, and I would just keep on going all goddamn day. But I have stuff I have to do today. So I have to go shopping today. I've got to walk. I'm gonna get some exercise. I don't know what time I'll be getting on tonight, but it'll be like, you know, probably like 6 or 8, maybe, something like that. Gotta go shopping. I don't know what time it'll be. But I'm gonna go to bed now because I can't really flip my schedule much worse than this. So thank you so much for your time, guys. It's been a very fun night. I noticed that I've got a lot more gameplay going lately than videos, which is good. I like that. Why do people love Final Fantasy X? I don't know. It's
William Pessel says, the invisibility liquor is ready for you, Jimmy.
Oops, yeah. Anyways, it's a good game, but it's turn-based, which I don't like. But it's a very deep game. Okay, so on that note, I'm gonna stop. I'll play Final Fantasy 16 tomorrow, and do, you know, a little bit of it, probably a few minutes of it, like an hour or two. And then, what else? I'm trying to get to there we go. I am skycat.live. Come to skycat.live. I'm a full-time writer gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Come click on the cat's face to donate. Click on the Twitch or the YouTube. Come to my Twitch. Give me a like, sub, or a follow. Or come to my YouTube and check me out. I'm sorry if I don't respond to chat. Thank you for all the likes, subs, and follows if you gave me any. And thank you so much for your time, guys. I am moving forward here, and this session was recorded, and it was 8 hours long, and it will be placed on my YouTube right now. And we are finally caught up with all the stuff. And I did stream for 12 hours today, so it was a pretty long session, but it wasn't as long as normal because I did do like kind of a mixed session today. So, but I will be up this evening to be with you guys some more. And I love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And I will see you this evening. And so I'm going to end.